What's good, everybody? Today's video is focused on a few EU4 tips and tricks. This is going to be a general guide focused on the early game that you can use if you're a beginner or want to step your skills up to get your snowball going faster. This video does assume that you have a general understanding of the UI, whether you did the tutorial or watched some videos. A little bit about my relevance to EU4. I have just under 5,000 hours and have 61% of the achievements. I'm not the greatest player. I forget to get some stuff done sometimes, and I don't always min-max the best, but I should have knowledge enough to share with some of you. I've divided this guide into 3 parts that you can jump to at your leisure. First, we'll take a quick look at the pregame. Then, we're going to take a look at all the things to get done before you even unpause. And finally, we'll take a look at what to do after unpausing and how to open up the game. I've played EU4 since back in 2013 when it was released, and I've been regularly buying the DLC since then. If you have not, I highly recommend finding the game while on sale, whether on Steam or a reputable site that sells Steam keys, and then purchasing the subscription. The EU4 subscription costs $5 a month and gives you access to all of the content. To purchase all of the content, you would have to spend somewhere around $400. So this will be a much better choice for a beginner, and you can cancel it at any time and not have spent $400. I do believe you need the subscription or the expansions, as the expansions add a tremendous amount to the game, to the point where it may not even feel like the same game. Once you're ready and in game, you'll be able to pick from any of these hundreds of nations in 1444. We're going to be cycling through different nations as we run through our general checklist. In the nation selection screen, you will be able to see your monarch and heir capabilities, as well as the national ideas and ambitions, current development and province size of your country, and finally the diplomatic state of affairs of your nation. Go ahead and pick your nation and press play. Be careful before pressing play again. You're going to want to make sure you've selected the right game mode. Normal mode is best if you're just beginning with EU4, if you're using mods, or making the game unstable in any way. You'll want to jump into Iron Man mode if you're going achievement hunting, as it's the only way you're going to get any of those juicy achievements. If doing Iron Man, you'll want to make sure you assign a goofy, punny, historic, or generally funny name to the campaign for good luck. So Castile Start is bad. You'll do bad, trust me. But Kill Wallfluence, you have much better luck in that game. Regardless of how little effort went into the name, we have a lower chance of our heir dying thanks to a random hunting accident. So we'll go ahead and start an Iron Man up. Jump into Castile here to get us started. In this game and others like it, there's quite a bit to do before you actually unpause. Once we've loaded in and have taken the reins of our country, the first thing we want to do is assess our economy. We want to see how much money we're making to make some of our next decisions. Let's also check our merchants. I want to give the benefit of the doubt to the devs and say they generally place them at optimal locations, but sometimes a bit more gold can be made by moving them around. Like here, where we recalled Lain from Tunis and ordered him to collect from trade in Sevilla. This should get us about a half decade more, which we won't be able to see until we unpause and let the game tick forward. We're also going to want to look at our forts. Mothballing or deleting some of our forts can save us a ton of money in the long run. They aren't really needed if your plans involve fighting wars in the enemy land. So we'll go ahead and delete our fort in the north and keep our fort in Toledo. After that, we'll head over to the advisors. And it's always good to get some advisors if you have the money for it. You're trading gold, especially for the level 1s, you're trading 1 gold for 1 monarch power. The effects, like production efficiency at the beginning, are negligible. National unrest are good if you're facing lots of rebellions, and things like yearly prestige will be helpful early on, especially for Castile. Wink wink. As Castile, we have the money to hire all of our advisors, and we'll want to take all of our level 1s. Not all nations will have the money to hire all advisors. It is good to rush your military so you can get your miltech as quick as possible. So if you have very little money, try to get your miltech early. Your administrative advisor is also very worthwhile to help you core all your conquests. Great. We've jumped over to France, but let's keep the game paused for now. Let's go ahead and start planning our first moves. We will take a look at the diplomatic map mode. In the diplomatic map mode, we can see where we or our vassals have claims or cores. Once you're done checking out the diplomatic map mode, go to the diplomatic tab to see who has rivaled you. You can go ahead and declare your rivals now. Usually when I don't do it right away, I forget, but there are some strategies and some openings that require you to not set your rivals right away. We will take a look at our decisions next. These decisions may help guide you on what your goals are. The most important decisions are forming new nations. Forming new nations are going to generally get you better ideas, modifiers, government reforms, and sometimes even new missions. Speaking of missions, let's check those out now. If you've chosen your nation well, you should have quite a sizable mission tree, much like France's. Go ahead and read into your first few available missions and see what is required to complete them. These early missions can grant some early rewards that will get you going. Ethiopia down in Africa is a good example of a nation that has an early mission that requires you to have 100% of force limit. Even if your country doesn't, it's very beneficial to declare war on December 11th, as nations will not have had time to form all of their alliances. Because of this, I will generally hire the free company. The free company receives a varying discount, making them cheaper to hire than infantry. They will also only take 10 days to recruit, whereas an infantryman will take 58 days. The additional upside of any mercenary is that they will save you on manpower, which is very worthwhile, especially in the early game. We are also going to try and get our first alliance. By doing this before unpausing, we have the chance of securing a choice nation as an ally. You may just be looking for a big friend that fills up their diplomatic slots fast, like Austria, or you could steal a possible alliance from a rival. You can see who you can ally from the diplomatic tab here. And let's go ahead and ally these guys before unpausing. The last thing we need to do before unpausing is manage our estates. The nobility, clergy, and merchant estates are relatively similar for all who have them, with just a name change depending on culture. Depending on who you are and where you are in the world, you will have some access to additional estates. You may only have one estate like the hordes, or you may be stuck with no estates at all. The main goal for our estates is to reach a higher than 50% loyalty equilibrium. This will allow us to seize land on cooldown and raise our crown land, getting rid of these negative modifiers and gaining some positive ones. We also want to have their influence level be lower than their equilibrium whenever possible. You almost always want to go ahead and take the supremacy over the crown privilege, as that gives all estates 10 influence and 10 loyalty. But other than that, you're really free to pick whichever privileges you prefer. I will run you through the current meta for estates, though. The current meta for estates advises that you take the +1 admin power from the clergy, or the Brahmins for our Dharmic friends, and the +1 military power from the nobles, otherwise known as the Maratha for our South or Western Indians, and the Rajputs for our Central and Eastern Indians. Depending on how much crown land you had to begin with, you can either then also grant the +1 diplomatic power from our merchant estate, or the Jain estate for our Indian brothers, or sell titles for some good starting gold. Then once that's taken care of, you want to raise the estate's loyalty and not their influence by providing monopolies. You want to try to grant monopolies to goods that you won't be conquering or developing in the near future, as granting a monopoly gives you 80% of the income from that good that you would have made within the next 10 years. So it's like a loan, but different, but still same, but not loan, but same. Seize land on cooldown, and as soon as you can, once you've provided these privileges. If you seize land and an estate's loyalty falls under 30%, you will receive a rebellion. Like I stated earlier, you want to try and declare war on someone on December 11th. It's not always possible, but when it is, you get to jump on the enemy before they can set up all of their alliances. During the first month, you can try and procure a few more alliances to help you. Hopefully you got your big ally before Unpausing. That's going to work as a deterrent to foreign invasions. Now you can focus on getting smaller allies that can help you in your first war or wars. Or bigger allies. Bigger allies are nice, always. The upside of having a smaller ally is that you will be able to build trust with them quicker and be able to call them into offensive wars faster, but as a big nation myself, it's okay to have big allies. Yeah, so if it looks like you're going to be able to declare war on December 11th, then great, you're off to a great start. If you aren't, which you might not be for a variety of reasons, then let's start working towards that first war. You want to send out a spy to build a spy network. And you're going to want to make sure you send him out before the end of that first month. Once he builds enough spy network to fabricate a claim, go ahead and do so, and you'll be able to declare your war when you're ready. Ready to declare war here. It may seem daunting as they have secured the French as an ally, but they only have one other ally in Ireland. Our navy should be able to defend the English Main while we conquer Scotland. Now that we're at war, we can send some of our diplomats to curry favors and get ready for some future wars. Now we're on the way to having a great EU4 game. Let me know if you have any other early game tips you would add on to this checklist, any feedback or questions. Don't be shy to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day.